Apple
Trillion,
has hit a $3 trillion market cap today. And it also coincided with it hitting its all-time high as well on the stock. So that was the news. That was like the big news in the stock market today, along with a few other things. So
it actually happened while we were live on this afternoon. We were watching it go, and then like boom, 3 trillion.
So let's talk about. Let's start off the show with that. What's your thoughts on Apple hitting 3 trillion and also hitting an all-time high at the first trading day of the year?
We may have to argue that Apple is probably the greatest publicly traded company of all time, excluding no company prior to it. Tim Cook, he has two, everyone write this down. He has 2 major projects left. They are AR glasses. I posted about it earlier on IG.
Yep.
Then the car. After those 2 come out, he's going to retire. The next milestone for Apple is going to be 7 trillion. And I really think that those glasses are going to be the only opponent to the iPhone, and it's going to dwarf the AirPods business. Because if you then have the lenses, you then will have the technology. If you have a MacBook, you know how well the speakers are. The speakers will be paired into the frame of the glasses. It is going to be absolutely incredible. And I know we're going to talk about Facebook later, but Facebook, you're going to get your things in order, because once they begin to put pressure on you, it is game over. So Apple, 2 tech, 2 index, no stress. For those of you who are asking what to invest in, write this down. VOO, VTI, Apple, Microsoft for long-term investing in equities or stocks, and you're good. And if I've made you money, please put yes in chat. It's the easiest formula ever. Greatest company that is publicly traded ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to argue at 3 trillion, right? So, I mean, people always ask, where should I start? Where should I start? I say, look what you're spending money on now. Like, my daughter has an Apple Watch, an iPad, a MacBook. I mean, just the products alone, right? And most kids and probably in your household have the same thing. So it's very easy to see how we can get to this number. But like you said, the car, the glasses, another thing. Like
the health. Don't forget health.
I'm going in.
Health.
I'm going in. Yeah, right? We're talking about the healthcare, right? If we're talking about the Apple Watch, we're talking about the healthcare. But you know what they also did? If you bought a new MacBook over the past holiday season, and I'm hearing the holiday numbers are looking incredible. They said the wearables did an amazing job this holiday season. But if you look at what's happening, right, with the MacBooks, they have their own chips inside. Microsoft has produced their own chips.
I told you guys last year.
Told you it was coming. The MacBooks are moving right now with their own chips. That M1 chip is inside of it right now. So again, another source of revenue that they don't have to spend out. Like they don't have to outsource anymore. They still use Qualcomm, obviously, but we told you about Intel. We told you they were going to get rid of them. We saw what happened. They're trying to rebound. More profit.
They won't. They're dead. Intel's dead. Let's not play.
More
AMD, NVIDIA, TSM. That's it. Intel's dead. I'm sorry. Intel, if you guys need help, send us $2 billion. We'll help you out. Intel's dead. Samsung is also building a $17 billion chip plant here in Texas. Dead. All over but the singing. Shout out to Biggie. Slow singing and flower bringer. You have to innovate faster. We're going to talk about it later, but you guys are going to have to innovate faster. And that old corporate model, you're going to wait 64 months to have anything innovative come about. No. These next 3 years, the world is going to move by so fast, some of you are going to get left behind. And I'll be the first to say here tonight, wait until Apple goes into biotech. Go watch the episode that I told you about cellular regeneration. And when you guys quote me in the media in 3 weeks about it, please tag us. Market Mondays, Ian Dunlap, Troy, Rashad, please tag us in it. And don't act like you guys said that, please. Cellular regeneration is probably going to be the biggest new space in the next 30 years.
That was a record. We got our first dead stock of the year. Look at that. 12 minutes in.
That's it.
Dead.
Why waste any time?
Yeah.
What's the most important stock of 2022?
I will say Apple for sure. I know I'm biased. I know you guys are tired of me saying it. And now watch these comments. Have you lost money since you've invested in Apple since I've told you about it on Market Mondays? I want you guys to stop looking for information. I'm going to be real. Listen to one source of information. It has to be me, this show, Troy and Rashad, Trap, Bonawyn, underrated, probably the best in the category, exclude nobody, Josh Brown. But you can't listen to 16 people and produce incredible alpha in your portfolio. Those of you that listen to too many people, you had a terrible Christmas because you can buy You pay everything you wanted to because, well, I thought you was investing in the market. No, you weren't. You were listening to too many people. Stick, and if you don't like our perspective, that is fine. But you have to stick to one source of information. I truly believe, and we'll talk about quantitative easing this year, which will happen in April. Now we're going to get to see which crypto projects are really good and which ones are pieces of shit. Last time I cursed this year, my dad, I know you listen, I'm gonna chill. And which companies are actually good and which fund managers are actually good. It's interesting that only a small percentage of fund managers beat the S&P 500, and everyone tells me, I don't want to invest in the S&P. But if you invested in the fund, you were underwater in a lot of funds. Apple is going to dominate regardless if we go through inflation, geopolitical wars. We'll talk about China and Russia later. I'm really terrified about them teaming up, but Apple will be able to sustain any disaster that we go through, including, write this down, the ecological disaster that will probably happen in 10 years that will devastate our planet.
So
you got so I'll let you go. Most important, what you think?
well, I'm gonna go to the next question.
No, I want to hear what you like. I got a different one.
We're trying to stretch out the content.
I had one. I knew you was gonna say Apple, so I was gonna go a little different. I'm gonna say it's an important year for Meta. I think it's an important year for Facebook, for a number of reasons. Obviously,
why do you think so? Let's talk like this.
Yeah, so obviously they've gone all in, right, in the metaverse, and we've already seen the level of investment. They're saying $50 billion. And so it's an important time, right? Because now you've had a shift in the branding of your company towards something that is futuristic, which is here, which has been here. But I think it's important because there's going to be a lot of ecosystems built around that, right? We're seeing it now, right? When we see Nike step into the space, we're seeing retail companies step into the space. We're going to start seeing more and more brands stepping into the space. And they have the key phrase for it, right? Like, we're calling it the metaverse, and they've actually coined the phrase, and they're still fighting for that. But I think it's important. Yeah, I think I'll be interested to see the moves that they make, what technology they're building around their quote unquote metaverse theme. So I don't know if they're the most important stock, but I think it's an important year for them.
Rashad, what's your stock of the year?
I mean, I don't want to just be a contrarian, just to be a contrarian. I talk about my stocks of the year, but of course, Apple's the most important stock. It's the biggest. That's like saying, like,
you don't got to be contrarian, just get the truth. Your portfolio on fire.
That's like, Apple is. I'm trying to give a sports comparison.
Yeah. Jordan.
Yeah, that's like Tom Brady. It's like saying
who's the most important
quarterback? Tom Brady. Like, you can make an argument for Joe Montana just to be a contrarian, but Tom Brady is clearly the greatest football player of all time.
At least a
quarterback, football player, you name
it. We betting again on Super Bowl.
but
shout out to my guy. Shout out Corey.
But for the sake of the conversation, I think Microsoft is obviously important. Tesla's important for a variety of different reasons. They're not important as far as, obviously, they're nowhere near the size of Apple, and they're not. But the electric car space, they have a strong hold on that. So they're like one of the few companies that's synonymous to a whole industry. When you think of the electric car industry, you think of Tesla. So
they are synonymous with the brand itself, which is historically, incredible.
So I think Tesla, and I also, throwing a curveball in the mix. We talked about it before, but not stocks, but crypto, Solana and Ethereum are going to be, because this NFT thing is going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. And those two are Ethereum's the leader, but Solana has a case to actually, rise up pretty big this year and rival Ethereum. So those two will be important. They will be very important this year for a variety of different reasons. But the NFTs, coupled with that's going to be an important situation as well.
I want to add. Can I add something too? Because the Tesla is important. Because I know he's going to say Apple. So that's why I went with Meta. But I like Tesla too. And so there's the rumor. Did you see this? The Tesla phone? Did you hear about this?
No, but they got the restaurants.
So here's the crazy part.
So does TikTok.
So the phone is actually, they're calling it the Model P or something like that. And so it's like, why would Tesla make a phone? Well, who's their biggest competitor? When they hear their biggest competitor or their rival CEO, right? Like Tim Cook says he's coming into that space. And so they're like, all right, well, you're coming into our space. Let's come into yours. But the interesting thing is a couple of things here. I'm like, what would Tesla do with the phone? Well, obviously it integrates with the actual car. But when we talk, and we spoke about this before, it was like, Now, if you have the Tesla phone, you can obviously create maps for yourself. And when you get in the car, it's already preloaded. It's autonomous. It takes you there. But the illest part is like now when you have your phone and you don't remember where you parked, the car can come pick you up.
Nobody's buying a Tesla phone. Nobody's
You'll
buying
be surprised. You'll be surprised. You know who's making. So here's the other part of it. The rumor is, right, the number one producer inside of the Apple phone is Qualcomm. They're also working with Tesla to design their phone too, to put their chips in. So that's one of those things. Is like
Tesla phone, not a good idea.
what if it came with the car?
Not a good idea.
Yeah, it's gonna be integrated with the car. They should call it something
How many people
other than the phone.
How many people, but
All right, hold on.
no, answer the
And they
question.
call it like
I know.
a Tesla
many people-
tracker.
How many people personally do you know have Teslas?
Probably like 2. But how many people bought Teslas
Exactly.
last year? 1 million, right?
Not enough.
That number is that's double what they did in 2020. They did 500,000. They double that this year. What happens next year? By 2030, they said that we have to go up like EV, right? Like some states are saying that. California said that, or was it 2035? Another states are saying that. And so if they're the leader in that market and we're growing at that type of pace, and you've seen what their stock just did today, like, yeah, that makes sense. So if you can get the car with the phone, yo, man.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.